Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
The following podcast may contain discussions supported by science that may be considered dangerous to some listeners and conspiracy theorists. Discretion is advised.
The Three Down Greencast is brought to you by Lucky Bastard Distillers, Saskatchewan's premier distillery, and by the Pile of Bones Brewing Company, brewed in the heart of Regina.
Welcome to the Three Down Nation Greencast. I'm Joel Gasson with John Fraser as usual. Plenty to get to today. The Riders, of course, lost their second game of the year to the Edmonton Elks. We will break down that game, sort of what led to the loss, some of the decisions in it, and look a little bit ahead to the rematch as well. You obviously have noticed a little bit of a different tone to start this episode, as this is the first time we've been able to get on the microphone and talk since the incident everyone's very aware of right now involving Jaden Dalke on Highway 11. So as much as we wanted to talk about the lettuce destroying America right now,
that I was actually proof of concept about more lettuce. We will get to that next week.
Yeah, we will probably backtrack on that a little bit because I'm sure it's not going away anytime soon. But it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right to come on here and basically be our usual dumb selves and then kind of get into this conversation. So we're just gonna get right into it today. Little bit of a different break from format, but hey, that's the way things go sometimes, and you just got to roll with it at times. We don't need to go over what happened. I think we're usually joke about if you've been living under a rock. I'm not going to make that joke this time. We're not breaking news to anyone here on this podcast. For the sake of transparency, John and I had full intentions to record last week. Then the news broke, and we kind of sat on it for a bit, and we decided that we were going to let the situation play out a little bit more. Try to learn a little bit more about the crash before we came on the microphone and talked about it. We still haven't really learned much since last Wednesday or so, and there's information that we frankly may never know because charges aren't being laid. Certain tests and different things don't have to be publicly released. So unless either family decides they want to talk about it or a media organization such as, say, the CBC decides they want to FOIA for the information, that may make it available at some point, but that'll probably be long off into the future. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter.
No, absolutely.
The information from the toxicology report won't make a difference in terms of what
happened or what's been lost or...
Yeah. It doesn't make anything right. So it doesn't really, frankly, matter at this point. This was not an unfortunate accident. It was a situation that sucks, quite frankly, and easily could have been avoided, but wasn't. And all we really can say about it is, obviously, from our perspective, is obviously our thoughts are with the families of both men involved in this horrific crash. And we wish them nothing but the best and hope that they are able to properly grieve. Because I know as much as there are people out there who have trouble with people talking about Jaden Dalke still in this situation, and understandably so. I'm not trying to put down their opinions in this situation, but there are still family, friends, teammates, other people who would be grieving the loss of Jaden Dalke, no matter what you may think of him now. So I think it's important to give people the space and time to do that, even if his life ended in tragic circumstances, and maybe not in the most positive light, as far as we know. Again, not all the information is out there, but what's out there is not suggesting that this was like sort of any sort of freak accident, right? So.
Well, and I think what indicated as much as that is as the news developed, and I was listening a lot to CKOM, and first off, friend of the program, Jamie and I just did an absolute incredible job.
Yeah.
There's so much kudos that when you have, and I'm sure CKRM did something great as well, but I locked into Nye. Like when shit like this happens, it's like I want to listen to Jamie Nye. He's the ultimate professional when it comes to this. So I think when you started hearing people stop referring to it as an accident and rather a crash, you kind of knew the way, the reading the room, the way that things were going. So, like you said, it's absolutely tragic. But the one thing I do enjoy seeing out of all this is how this isn't just about Jaden Dalke and his family.
No.
And how the GoFundMe for I'm gonna get his name wrong, so I'm not even gonna try. The GoFundMe took off for the other gentleman who lost his life in this, and to see, and that's this province and this fan base and people at their best. Like there's so much darkness from this that to see a GoFundMe take off, not for the rider player, but for another victim who was just lost as part of this crash, and to see everybody get behind him and his family and make that right, that, if there's any silver lining in something like this, it's that, right? Like you always that people are going to support the riders no matter what. People are going to support the riders' players, their families, no matter what. And you're wondering, okay, the other victim, what's going to happen here? And to see Saskatchewan step up in the way that they did. And I know we did a tribute to both men at the Mamba game, the next Mamba game from that. I know the same thing happened at Mosaic Stadium. So that
kudos to the riders for what
yes
was a good ceremony. They did the best they could with a very difficult situation. I didn't time it, obviously. I wasn't that meticulous about it, but it certainly felt like both men got the same amount of time, and Jaden Dalke didn't go first. And so I think that was an important distinction to make. And I know there's still going to be people upset that Jaden Dalke was sort of remembered at the game, but for me, this was probably the moment for the players. Like the players, his teammates deserve that moment of closure, because in all likelihood, they're not going to get to go to a traditional funeral and get that, because that's the life they've chosen of football, that doesn't end. The show must go on. So I think for them, for the team, his teammates needed that moment of closure in that time.
No, certainly. And that's a great point, Gas, because I know that's even one thing that Nye kept mentioning is as the details emerge, you're going to hear things that make you feel yucky about this, and make you feel conflicted. I know I felt very conflicted when it came out, but at the end of the day, you've got a family who's lost their son. You've got a team that's been all together and they've lost one of their teammates, right? And football is such a sport in that way that, you've got a big old group of guys, right? You got 50 guys on that active roster roughly, right? So yeah, it's good to give them their closure. I thought the team I wasn't there, you were, I from everything I read, it was an excellent tribute. I thought the organization handled this well. They were smart to, a lot of organizations, and maybe even this team in the past, would have just shut down and no commented once things started turning ugly. The fact that they went from having Jeremy O'Day out there, and then as details emerged, they got Craig Reynolds in front of the media, right?
Yeah. Craig easily could have said no, but he 100%. Decided that he was in the area, and he's like, okay, well, yeah, this is coming out. Someone's got to talk about this. It might as well be me.
And kudos to Craig, right? To come out and that's not something like Corey Mace, Trevor Harris, those guys shouldn't have to be discussing the details, right? They've just lost their friend, their brother, in that locker room. And for Craig Reynolds to recognize that and to step up and say, okay, I'm going to be the guy to address this. Again, it's terrible. It's awful. But the Riders did a lot of things right, and this province, is doing a lot of things right, with this whole tragedy.
I think sort of the only other aspect of this that I want to touch on at this point, is the local garbage company.
Yes.
And their stupid role in this. I don't want to give them any more play than they deserve at this point. They are frauds. They should not exist. They exploit people at their absolute worst for interactions and, social media metrics. And it's wrong.
And you look at the company they keep as some of the most famous Saskatchewan troll accounts run by one man that legally I do have to point out is not Michael Ball. He's not behind those accounts.
No.
But there is a man that's been behind several well-known Saskatchewan troll accounts that seems to think it's a big part of it. And as you said, like, with no journalistic integrity, there's a reason.
There's no standard. There's no standard.
No, that's exactly it. And people are finding out, rumors and things like that. And before the families ever should, right? Before the families ever have. So
and that's what it comes down to. Like, that's people who have worked in actual newsrooms. Not that we claim to be journalists still, but
no, we are not anymore. No. But at the same note,
like, we've done this, and as we can get into conversations about the RCMP and policing in this country and their dealings with the media, but that's another episode for another podcast that isn't us, quite frankly.
It certainly. But all I know is the number one thing I remember is...
You do not report on someone's death until the police have, because there are reasons why the police wait to tell people, because the people who need to know that person is dead need to know before the public does.
Exactly that. I'll tell everybody a fun fact. I was probably one of the. It's not a fun fact at all, but I was probably one of the first 4 people in this province to know about the Humboldt Broncos crash, and I sat on it. I wasn't saying anything. Like, yeah, I could have, and that's because even though I was out of the business, I still believe in journalistic integrity and finding out when you need to find out. Right? Yeah. You don't. If you want to be the first to break a trade, if you want to be the first to say that Bo Levi Mitchell's bought a house in Regina, fill your boots. Go right ahead. That's not affecting anybody's lives, their family, their connections, their loved ones. But to try to be first on somebody dying, that's like, you never, ever, 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 ever do that. And it's disgusting that they thought that they'd be okay. And it's disgusting watching them take criticism and go after personal attacks to guys like our buddy Greg.
Yep.
Like,
for simply pointing that out, we did not give a single shit if they were right or wrong. That doesn't matter.
No, exactly.
It's even worse if you're wrong, but it does not matter one way or the other. The point
because
is,
one day you will be wrong.
Yep.
And that day that you get that wrong, you will never ever forget it, and you will never live it down. And that day's coming.
Yeah. There's no obviously easy transition out of this, so we're just going to get into it now. The Riders did play
football
a game.
Time.
Yeah, yes. So we can actually lighten up a little bit here now. I get back into what we do. The Riders did play a game this week. They played the Edmonton Elks on Thursday evening at home. Good crowd actually for a Thursday night. We were surprised, over 28,000 at Mosaic Stadium. Place was rocking. Good vibe all around.
Sounded like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great night of football at Mosaic Stadium. And, yeah, the Riders lost 36-34 in what was, I'm just going to say it, an entertaining as hell football game. Like, the Riders lost. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about because they lost. They're going to lose some games throughout the course of the year.
And Edmonton looks like a very good football team.
Yeah, I think right now it's safe to say the race in the West for the top spot is probably between them and Edmonton. Calgary's kind of on the peripheral a little bit. They got some catching up to do, but they have the horses to do it for sure.
And Winnipeg might suck.
Winnipeg looks like they're in a downward spiral. They're kind of trending downward a bit. They may get lucky and still cross over again. And obviously BC's basically out of it at this point, unless Nathan Rourke comes back like next week, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. And even then, I don't know if they have enough runway to really get back into this thing, especially, not at the top of the standings at least, maybe for a crossover if things break their way. So that's pretty much where we're at. So yeah, the Riders lost to a very good football team. There's no doubt about that. It was a great, entertaining football game where just all hell broke loose. Chaos was all over the place, and like that was the kind of game, as football lovers, we love to see.
Oh, certainly, and I'm going to be real. The Mamba had another big win. I was always happy to be a part of that. But it was one of those games that it's like I watched like the final 6 minutes when I got home from the Mamba victory.
It was just one thing after another at that point.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't need to watch anything else. Like a lot of times when I don't catch a majority of the game, I make sure to watch it, and because I'm like, oh, there's lots of things that we're going to need to discuss, but it's like watching that final 6 minutes, I'm like, I feel like everything we need to discuss happened in that final 6 minutes.
Well, it happened repeatedly throughout the start of throughout the entire game. Like, both quarterbacks were just throwing bomb after bomb. And I have not seen a game like that in any sort of level of football in any league in a very long time. Like, you have one, you maybe get a couple, but like each team had multiple 50-plus yard bombs. It was insane to watch.
And even on that last drive, Cody Fajardo staring down third down, what was that, 3 different times?
Yeah, one of them was like a third and long too. Like, a couple of them were shorter, but he had a third and long that he was absolute nails on. Yeah.
And Cody, on all 3 of those, outside of the one on the slant route, he goes deep on all of them. Like, you never see that. Normally, like, you see a quarterback on third down, okay, where's the curl routes, where's the short stuff? Cody's like, nah, man, the guy's open down there, let's chuck it.
It's what was working for both quarterbacks, so why not, right? Like,
100%. And I
have to give credit to both Mark Mueller and Jordan McSimic for being like, no, we got to establish the runner. We got to start doing this, doing that. It's like, nah, this is working. Keep hucking.
Yeah, exactly.
They did not overthink this. They're just like, yep, just keep going. Just keep throwing
That's
it.
right.
Keep going.
Until somebody can stop it. Until somebody can stop this, keep it going. I loved, and I know, like, especially from Roddy these days, like Rod Peterson, and he loves Cody Fajardo, maybe more than I love Sergio Castillo, but Cody's a gamer.
Oh, yeah. We've
like,
always
in a
said
big,
that about him.
Oh, I know, but in a big game like that, I had no idea that was his first game with 500 passing yards. Like, it just seems like he's been around the league long enough. He should have, like...
Well, no, that's the thing about Cody. Like, he's been around the league for a while. He's done just about everything you can imagine in this league. But he's never been like a yards monster. He's never put up a ton of yards in a bunch of games very often. And I remember when he got to, when we were sitting there, and it was he was at about the 400-yard mark, and I'm not very good at remembering past football games, as we famously discussed a lot on the show.
Yes.
I said out loud, I'm like, what's Cody's career high? Because I'm like, this feels close, because I don't remember a lot of 400-yard games in his career.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Yes.
So we looked it up, it was like 435 or something was his career high. So yeah, he obliterated that by getting to 510.
Unbelievable. 4 touchdowns. Like, it
Both
was...
quarterbacks with 4 touchdowns, yeah.
Oh,
insane.
just this is like...
And yeah, I know the Riders lost, and that's going to hurt for some people, but, like, man, it's really hard to be mad when a game was that fun this early. Now, if this is late in the year and the Riders really need that win, I get it. If that's a playoff game and they lost like that, I get it. That's gut-wrenching. But for July, I'm like, you know what? That was a fun Thursday night at Mosaic Stadium.
But even like, and maybe we're not as jovial, but you and I are football fans first, and we talk about the Riders second.
Yes. Well, I'm just thinking, I assume most of our fans outside of the 7 are Rider fans, but I don't actually have any analytics on that. So.
Right. But I mean, I think you're right. Like, you want entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And you know what? Of course, if Winnipeg's going to be dog shit again, I want Saskatchewan to win. I am surrounded by people that love this team in every day of my life. And I want them to win. Like, give me that game again in a West Final. Just, maybe Saskatchewan wins, because maybe, just maybe, Joel Gasson, Corey Mace has learned from his mistake yet again.
He has a history of doing that.
Which we can hope, yes.
We can hope. Now, it's important to note that what we're about to talk about, I don't think, was like the sole reason they lost the game. This was, they were full credit for had they won in a lot of different facets. They're also full credit for a loss in many different facets of this football game. I think, number one, obviously the defense, when you give up that many yards and that many points, was bad.
Yes.
And
Yes.
as much
Yes.
as we
That is
find-
not good. No.
As much as we find that entertaining in terms of the business of winning football games, you probably shouldn't do that.
No.
It was just,
No. That is not long-term success. But
No.
man, it was fun as hell.
Yeah, I am not X's and O's guy. I'm not scheme guy. I don't know if it was just if both teams has had a read on something or if it was just an off night all around for the secondary. But whatever it was, it happened. And I think this is a secondary. This is a team that has sort of historically always given up a lot of yards. And I think eventually one night that dam was just going to burst and lead to a lot of points. And that's what happened to this football game. I'm not ready to read too much into it just yet. I know they're still kind of having a little bit of issue getting to the quarterback, having a little bit of issue in the secondary. Obviously, there's been pieces moving around there all year, so we'll see where that goes. They haven't piled up a whole lot of turnovers, so there's still question marks about the defense, but I'm not ready to hit the panic button on them yet.
No, and I think it's still early enough in the season,
Yeah.
and I get it. It's July, but it's still the season doesn't start till Labor Day. It's more the teams don't find their identity and their pieces till Labor Day, right? So you're going to have these.
You just got to kind of float around where you want to be for most of the
Exactly.
season and peak late. That's generally how you succeed in the CFL.
Certainly, and especially when you're still working in new pieces, new schemes, everything like that. Now, okay, you and I are both fans of aggressive football.
Yeah, I just want to get to the one thing I am
Okay,
pushing the
okay.
panic button on first, and that's Alex
Okay.
Hale. There needs to be
Oh,
a new
yes.
kicker in this week. I don't care anymore.
It was funny.
You can say you trust the guy. You can talk about this, that, and the other thing. The thing we're about to talk about is actually kind of makes sense if Alex Hale could make a fucking 40-yard field goal. I know
but
it's
he can't.
46. I know it's 46, but he's made one field goal all year over 40 yards. The guy sucks.
That
there's
is
no,
insane.
There's no rhyme or reason around this. There's no explanation as to why keeps happening, why they're keeping him. I get the roster construction angle of this, but I'm sorry. A third-string backup defensive lineman that mostly plays specials because you can get another American there is not worth your global kicker being dog shit.
No, and absolute hot dog shit. Like you said, it was funny. I wasn't sure which direction you wanted to go. I flipped a coin. I was going to bring up Hale and that kick he missed.
I could have kicked the ball like that.
Oh my!
There's not
God.
often usually when a kicker misses, I still couldn't do that. I could have done that kick probably.
Like a guy hits an upright. A guy just puts a little short. He pushes it wide.
Yeah.
No. That was a straight up that was like a college level. That's not even like major conference college. That's like a FCS subdivision kick. That was that
I
bad.
thought there was a U Sports 2 kick.
Yeah,
U Sports
nobody even kicks like that in U Sports.
If U Sports had a Division 2 football, that would maybe be it.
You know what it is? That is occasionally a CJFL kick because there's not a lot of special teamers in the CJFL. So that's where we've gone all the way down to is the CJFL. So, and no disrespect to the CJFL, it's just it is not a place where special teams guys come out of. That was embarrassing, that kick. And it's funny, so Lacey has started following the team again. Like, not religiously. She doesn't know the ins and outs. So
Yeah.
I got home from the Mama game, and Maya's on one TV, the boys are on another, and she's watching it on her phone. And I saw that kick. She goes, "Why don't we have a better kicker?" I'm like, I don't know, because he is hot dog shit, and dare I say, and this is coming from a Winnipeg Blue Bombers fan, that I've seen some bad kickers. Hello, Alexis Cerna. Hale might be the worst. Like, he can't kick over 40 yards.
No. And he can barely kick under 40 yards.
That's right. And again, that miss, that's just such an amateur level miss. Like, this is the time to figure it out. You've got enough runway left in the season to figure out your roster construction and get somebody in there now. Now, what I find funny is I know even though he struggled last year and has been replaced by Brett Lowther, Ottawa bringing in Lewis Ward almost seems like the, you ain't doing this easy there, Saskatchewan kind
Sounds
of
like
move.
Brett may have a quad injury, so I think that's what's playing into it. But
But
it's probably a little bit. Though I would rather be the Riders with a good quarterback and a decent backup than Ottawa and all the kickers and no quarterbacks. You may not have a quarterback, but guess what? We got 2 kickers. Okay, cool.
But on the same note, they did have a quarterback, even though Drew Brown is regressed a bit in Winnipeg.
Still
They
better
did
than Jake
have
Mayer,
one.
Yes.
Way better than Jake Mayer.
Yep.
So, Yeah, that is. I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet. That they have brought somebody in. Like, I feel like that's
Anthony
coming.
Kim was great by all accounts in training camp. He was clearly the better kicker during the games. Like, he's got, and I know he's American, but it's like, well, figure out the roster. Surely there's a global you can run down there on specials instead. Like, what are we doing here?
Where's Theodric Hansen? Can we get him out of retirement just for that? Like, you're bang on. I get it. The global spots are tricky, but. Yeah. You can't be losing ball games. Like you said, go find some, I'm sorry, American special teamer, you're about to be cut because we need a global down there to run like a missile. But Alex Hale is, dare I say, one of the worst kickers I've seen in the past 10 years in the CFL.
It could be, and it is also because the standard has changed so much. Right,
fair.
Like, he's kicking like a 72% or something, which like 20 years ago would have been fine. Now it's like, this is completely unacceptable, right? And that's the standard now, so that's what he should be held to. I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but it just, in terms of historically placing him, that makes it a little more difficult.
That's why I said the last decade, because I feel like it's just the last decade that kickers have like 80%, 80 to 90% is the only way you're keeping your job these days.
Yeah. So had Alex Hale made that field goal that he missed
terribly,
it could have set up the situation where Corey Mace made the decision he did near the goal line, where it would have quasi made sense.
Yes.
There was just under 2 minutes to go in the game. They're at the 3-4 yard line. Corey Mace decides to kick a field goal to put them up
an 11-yard field goal.
An 11-yard field goal to go up 1. Now, had they already
with 2 minutes remaining?
Yep. Had they already been leading to that point, that field goal that Alex Hale made before turned that field goal into a 4-point game. That I'm like, okay,
all for it.
I can see it here because you are. I feel confident that you're going to be able to stop them from scoring a touchdown, even though Edmonton's offense has been great all day, scoring touchdowns, etc., etc., etc. The odds in about $1.50 scoring a touchdown are much lower than a field goal.
Especially now that the league has figured out the substitution nightmares.
Yes. So I can understand in that scenario. When you're kicking a field goal from the 4-yard line to go up 1 with $1.30 left, roughly. And it's just, and I know you have to kick off after, and I hate to say it, but it should have worked. Everything lined up, it should have worked. They got the kickoff. The Elks were called for holding. They were way backed up, way around into their own territory. They got them on third down multiple times. Marcus Sales was pushed out of bounds by his own player.
Yes.
On an interception. So, like, everything in this scenario, it should have worked, unfortunately. It should have worked. But it ultimately didn't because, as we talked about, Cody's Cody. Cody gamed. He had 3 incredible third down conversions on that drive. And then Blanchard kicks an absolute monster 57-yard field goal because he's a professional kicker.
And the football gods, I go back to this being the football gods. The football gods rewarded the Edmonton Elks for the mistakes of Corey Mace.
Yeah, because, and like I think yes, okay. There was other scenarios before, like yes, Sam Emilus got called for an interesting OPI, shall we say, but I don't really
let's not even call it interesting. I never ripped the officials. Yeah. That was terrible. That was terrible, I'm sorry.
He's terrible. He still missed a throw to Johnny Johnson the third a little bit later. That should have been a touchdown. Like there were other opportunities to score. And
the throw was actually, it was so surprising that on the broadcast, Glenn Suter speculated it might have hit the goalpost.
It didn't, but no. Yeah.
Oh, no, you clearly saw in the replay very soon, but like that just goes to show how uncharacteristic that throw was from Trevor Harris. Like he just
if you give him that 10 more times, he probably hits it 9 times.
I would argue giving him 100 more times, he probably hits it 98.
Probably, yeah. So, like, as bad as the call maybe it was on Sam Emilus, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to sit here and brag about officiating, and that's what changes this game, and etc. There's hundreds of other moments in a game that could have made a difference. And it ultimately came down again, that third down at the 3-yard line, you could go for it, and you should have gone for it.
Should absolutely have gone for it.
You go for it, because I think, number one, then you score a touchdown, you go up 6. And that's the scenario then where, okay, you are now more confident in stopping a touchdown again. And even then, even if you don't get it, if you truly believe in your defense, if you don't get it, the Edmonton Elks are on their 3-yard line. Maybe they're 2, maybe they're 1, depending on how far you get down the field.
Yes.
If you get a 2 and out, you're getting the ball back in pretty good position again. Even if they get one first down and they get to the 11, you're still going to be in a good spot to still kick that field goal to then win the game.
Yes.
So 100% of the time, that is a situation where Corey Mace absolutely should have gone for it.
Or you saw it in Blanchard's kick. Or your worst case, turn it over on downs. And I know time was of the essence, but Edmonton's essentially got to get it to your 50.
Yeah.
Edmonton basically has to go 55 yards to really put the game away. So you and I, we see it more and more in college, and you and I are big advocates of it. That
I think especially the way the clock works in the final 3 minutes.
Yes.
If you have that 1.5 to 2 minutes left, if you can get a quick stop and get the ball back, there's still lots of time to score.
Even a medium quick stop, even if they burn a minute on a drive, right? You still have the ability to get the ball back, and then you're going to have another chance to watch Alex Hale suck.
Yeah. Well,
right?
There is that.
There is also that.
But in theory, you have given yourself a chance, and maybe by some miracle he makes the field goal, right?
Maybe. Or you let somebody else try a kick just for shits and giggles because they couldn't be any worse than him. So I love aggressive football, and again, challenging your opponent to get out of the shadows of their own goalposts is never a bad thing, right? So, and you get the touchdown. We're all talking about these scenarios as if they weren't going to get the touchdown.
No.
Trevor Harris just had a wide open look to a receiver and missed the throw, again, as you and I talked about, which you never see Trevor Harris do. Do you not think Trevor Harris won a redemption right there?
Well, absolutely.
Do you not?
Sure he did. I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he wanted another shot because he was absolutely shredding this Elks defense. Give him another shot, or just put in Tommy Stevens and go, we're going to outman you on the line of scrimmage. Let's go.
In fairness to that, I can see that, and they maybe should have done that on second down as well, just push and push. I don't hate the play call initially to throw to Trevor Harris. I'm not sitting here.
No.
I've heard some people question the decision to throw there. I don't. I'm fine with it. The execution was just off. It's fine. It happens. But it also would not have been wrong to send Tommy Stevens out there on second down.
And like you and I always like to talk about, with Tommy Stevens, the guy can't throw, but the maths. You have an extra body to block.
On the other side of it, I kind of see the other side of it because Tommy Stevens probably had his worst night. He still converted everything, but it was not his best night. He wasn't really bulldozing through everyone like he normally does. He was kind of just getting there.
I mean,
because that Edmonton front is very, very good.
In fairness, you saw that both defenses basically went, all right, we're gonna throw for 900 yards and stop the run. Like AJ had 52.
Shut down Justin hurt at one point and left, but yes.
Also that, but I mean, the combined yards, even if you look at like AJ only with 52, Bertrand Hudon only had under 10 yards. And again, you look at both teams basically said, coming into this, we're going to stop the run and let the chips fall as they may for the rest of it. And oh boy, was it fun as hell. Yeah,
well, and that's the funny part of it. We talked about the struggles the defense had, as I wrote as the good. If you came into this game and you told me that Justin Rankin was going to combine for like 60 yards, I'd be like, oh, the Riders win easy.
100%. Not all of a sudden.
He had 30 plus, I believe, in both. It wasn't a big day for him in receiving or rushing. They focused on him and they made sure that Justin Rankin did not beat them. And normally, that's the Bill Belichick thing. It's like, who's their best player? Go after him and let someone else beat you. Someone else beat them on this night. It usually works. Occasionally, it doesn't. And on this night, it didn't.
That's because TJ Luther came out of nowhere. How many big catches did that guy have?
He had a few, yeah, and he's growing them, and he's becoming a pretty good player. But I mean, Austin Mack had the two big busts where he went down. Brendan Orange had a good game. Hey, Cody did it. Cody did the thing. He came out here and he's not a yards monster, but he's a gamer, and he finds ways to win football games, and that's what he decided. That's how he's going to do it in that game.
And the best part is I'm really looking forward to this rematch in Edmonton because it's rare you have probably the game of the season and then the same two clubs facing off again a week later.
No, it really doesn't happen a lot. A lot of the times we get back-to-back situations and it's like, oh, these teams just played last week and there was a pretty bad game and now they're going to play again. Great. This week it's like, oh, do we get round 2 of this? Could we get another combined 70 points and not almost 1,000 yards of offense? Yes, please.
Booyah. Except I think they're going to change it up, and instead you're going to see everybody rush for 200 yards, just to mix it up on Saturday night.
Or the defense is just going to... The defenses are going to lock down, and this game's going to end 9-7.
Wouldn't that be the funniest? Like, entertaining as hell casual football into 9-7 slugfest.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.